As a fan of professional wrestling, I've always been intrigued by the process of talents transitioning from NXT, the developmental brand of WWE, to the main roster. Now, NXT has produced some incredible superstars who've gone on to become household names in the wrestling industry. However, not all NXT call-ups have been successful. For every Big E, there has been an Adam Rose. In this video, I'll delve into the 5 most disappointing and the 5 most incredible NXT call-ups of all time. However, before we jump into the list, I'd like to take a moment to ask you to take a moment after your life to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. It really does help the channel out, and it allows us to reach more people to share the love that we all have for professional wrestling around. So go on, show that love, and welcome to the club. Now, let's crack into the list with worst number 5, Samoa Joe. Now, Samoa Joe isn't on this list for what his run was, which wasn't great. He's on this list for what it could have been, because Samoa Joe's arrival on the main roster was met with much anticipation and excitement. With his intimidating presence, exceptional in-ring skills, and his run on NXT, many believed he would have a significant impact on the main roster. Unfortunately though, Joe's call-up failed to live up to expectations. Despite a strong start, including a memorable feud with Seth Rollins in the build-up to WrestleMania 33, and Rollins' blood feud with one-time mentor Triple H, Joe's momentum was halted by a series of unfortunate injuries. These setbacks not only disrupted his push, but also limited his in-ring time, preventing him from showcasing his full potential. Joe's call ultimately ended up being underwhelming, leaving fans longing for what could have been. Thankfully for Joe though, he managed to find a new lease of life in AEW. And we have the 5th greatest NXT call-up with Asuka. One name that instantly comes to mind when discussing the greatest NXT call-ups is Asuka. The Empress of Tomorrow made her mark in NXT with an unprecedented undefeated streak that lasted for an astonishing 914 days. Her arrival on the main roster brought a new level of intensity and dominance to the women's division. With a unique in-ring style, striking charisma and undeniable talent, the former Kana quickly became a force to be reckoned with. Despite facing a few challenges along the way, Asuka's resilience and determination propelled her to great heights. She captured the SmackDown Women's Championship and held it for an impressive 100 days, solidifying her status as a top-tier performer. Asuka's impact on the industry cannot be overstated, as she paved the way for future NXT call-ups and raised the bar for women's wrestling in WWE, being probably the most important female wrestler outside of the 4 Horsewomen in changing how women's wrestling was presented. In at worst number 4, we have Bobby Roode. Now, Roode's time in NXT was nothing short of glorious. As the brand's top champion, Roode captivated audiences with his charismatic persona, impressive in-ring ability, and his theme song. However, his main roster debut did not capitalise on the momentum that Roode had built whilst down in NXT. Roode was initially pushed as a top star, but his character quickly lost its edge and became stale. He was placed in mid-card feuds that failed to showcase his true potential, and was then put into an even worse position by put in a tag team feud as part of the Dirty Dogs with Dolph Ziggler. Roode's disappointing call-up highlights the importance of maintaining the essence of a character when transitioning to the main roster and the potential pitfalls of creative mishandling. Thankfully for Roode though, he is now having a new renaissance as part of a producing team in WWE. Into number 4 with the greatest NXT call-ups, we have Sami Zayn. Now, Sami Zayn's journey from NXT to the main roster all the way to the main event of WrestleMania is a prime example of perseverance and passion for wrestling paying off. Known for his high-flying moves and incredible agility, Zayn captured his hearts of fans during his time in NXT. His underdog persona, with his catchphrase of the underdog from the underground, and his never-give-up attitude resonated with audiences, leading to an unforgettable call-up to WWE. He actually had 2, if we're honest. He had his initial one as part of John Cena's Open Challenge, where he unfortunately suffered a shoulder injury, and then a second one during the 2016 Royal Rumble. And upon the second one, Zayn wasted no time in making an impact. He engaged in memorable feuds with some of the industry's biggest names, where he was able to showcase his exceptional in-ring abilities and ability to connect with the audience. Whether it was his epic battles with Kevin Owens, his emotional encounters with Braun Strowman following the brand split, or as part of the incredible fatal 4-ways and ladder matches over the IC belt in 2016. Zayn consistently delivered captivating performances that solidified his status as one of the greatest NXT call-ups in history. We have the worst number 3, Keith Lee. Keith Lee's ascent in NXT was meteoric. With his combination of size, agility and charisma, Lee became one of the brand's most beloved and dominant stars, becoming the first person to hold the NXT North American Championship and the NXT Championship at the same time. However, his main roster call-up left fans scratching their heads. Lee's character was inexplicably changed. He lost his unique persona and was given a generic gimmick with generic music and a generic singlet. Moreover, his booking was inconsistent, with wins and losses being equally distributed. For example, he beat Randy Orton at Payback clean, which is a huge deal, and then wouldn't be on Hell in a Cell. This lack of direction and inconsistent booking and his character development hindered Lee's momentum, making his call a missed opportunity to establish him as a top-tier talent, which he should have and could have been. We have the third greatest NXT call-up with Finn Balor. Now, when it comes to NXT call-ups, few have made as grand an entrance as Finn Balor. Known for his charismatic presence and extraordinary demon alter ego, Balor became a fan favourite during his time in NXT. His reign as NXT champion, coupled with his unique entrance, captivated audiences worldwide and set the stage for an unforgettable main roster debut. Balor's arrival on the main roster was nothing short of spectacular. He was a top 5 draft pick at 4 Raw, picked ahead of names like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. He beat Roman Reigns clean in the build-up to SummerSlam and made his mark by winning the Universal Championship in his first ever pay-per-view match on the main roster. This historic achievement solidified his place amongst the greatest NXT call-ups of all time. Balor's innovative wrestling style and ability to connect with the crowd have made him a valuable asset to the WWE roster, cementing his status as a true trailblazer in the industry. Here's hoping he gets a chance to have a proper run with the top title, due to his first run being cut short due to injury. Now we have worst number 2, Retribution. Retribution was an NXT call-up that had a promising start when they were started out being, proper rebellious group, however ultimately fizzled out. Debuting as a faction with a disruptive agenda, Retribution generated intrigue and excitement amongst wrestling fans. However, their momentum quickly dissipated due to a series of creative missteps. The group's motivation and purpose was never clearly defined, leading to a lot of confusion and disinterest. Additionally, the members of Retribution were given names that at best were just generic and at worst were outright stupid, such as Slapjack. And they underwent constant changes, making it challenging for fans to connect with them on a meaningful level. Retribution's call-up serves as a cautionary tale of how the lack of creative direction can derail a promising act, with many of them retreating back to NXT. And the fact they were given these stupid names actually ended up being a blessing in disguise, as it meant that names like Mercedes Martinez and Shane Thorne could just go back to being them and pretend that they never happened. Now we move on to the greatest NXT call-ups number 2, with The Shield. In the realm of NXT call-ups, few groups have had profound an impact as The Shield. Comprised of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, this dominant faction burst onto the scene in WWE with a bang. Each member brought their unique strengths, creating a perfect blend of power, technical prowess and showmanship. The Shield's impact was felt immediately as they swiftly rose through the ranks and captured numerous championships and interfered in several WWE Championship matches, including the main events of Survivor Series 2012 and Royal Rumble 2013. Their dominance in the tag team division and ability to deliver show-stealing matches made them fan favourites. Individually, each member of the Shield has achieved remarkable success as well, further solidifying their status as one of the greatest NXT call-ups in history, with all 3 men being world champions several times over. And then we have the worst call-up number 1, with Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross was one of the most dominant figures in the history of NXT, capturing the NXT Championship after just a couple of months on the roster. His ominous presence, unique character and captivating entrance immediately caught the attention of fans. However, his call-up to the main roster was plagued by questionable decisions. In NXT, Cross had a unique look, an incredible undefeated streak, and a brilliant manager adding to his presentation. However, on the main roster, he debuted with none of these and immediately lost, which immediately diminished his aura of invincibility. Moreover, his character was stripped of its mystique, with his entrance and presentation being altered, and he was given a gimp suit that would be laughed out of the Roman orgy. These changes not only diluted his impact, but also failed to resonate with the audiences, and Cross's main roster call was a clear example of mishandling a talent and squandering their potential. However, let's end this list with some positivity by talking about the greatest NXT call of all time, Kevin Owens. When it comes to the greatest NXT call of all time, there can be no doubt that Kevin Owens takes the crown. From his debut in NXT, Owens showcased his exceptional in-ring skills, captivating the audience with his hard-hitting style and intense demeanour. His ability to seamlessly transition from a beloved babyface to a despicable villain made him one of the most compelling characters in recent memory. For example, if you take his debut night at NXT TakeOver R Evolution, he started as a beloved babyface by beating up CJ Parker, and ended the night as the most deplorable man in the business by killing Sami Zayn after his over a year-long journey to the NXT Championship. Upon his call to the main roster, Owens wasted no time in making his mark. He engaged in captivating rivalries with some of the industry's biggest names, like answering John Cena's open challenge and beating him clean in his first match, and delivering several unforgettable matches and promos. A year after his debut, in 2016, he won the Universal Championship and had multiple championship victories, solidifying his place as the greatest NXT call-up in history. His impact in the industry has been undeniable, as he continues to push the boundaries of what it means to be a professional wrestler. And there you have it. There's the list of the 5 best and 5 worst NXT call-ups of all time. Now, in recent years, we've had names like Bron Breakker, Carmelo Hayes, and many others be dominant on what is now white and gold brand, and only time will tell how they will fare on the main roster. Maybe they'll be able to crack this list one day, hopefully on the best side. However, be sure to let us know in the comments who you think are the best and worst call-ups in history, and be sure to hit that thumbs up button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell to never miss out on any of our fun content. For now, I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and welcome to Honor Wrestling Club.